A reader asked me, how do you balance discovery with delivery if you don't have a separate discovery team? The first thing I want to highlight is I don't want you to have a separate discovery team. The team that is building the product should be doing the discovery. So yes, there is this question of how do we balance both? When we come from a project world, delivery often is a full-time job, right? We're writing dozens and dozens of user stories. There's acceptance criteria to add. We're constantly getting barraged with questions from our engineering team. We're probably in meetings, keeping stakeholders up to date. And it can be really hard to make time for discovery. This is one of the things I really love about continuous discovery. As our practices get more continuous, we can do smaller and smaller activities. So this starts with your delivery has to move to a more continuous cadence. Let's say that over time, your company has moved from like quarterly releases to now you're doing 2-week sprints. And you're getting to the point at the end of each 2-week sprint to release code to customers. Great. I know a lot of teams are there, if not better. As you start, let's just assume a 2-week cycle. Some teams think, okay, well, I'm going to be delivering X work during this sprint, and I'm going to be discovering Y work during this sprint. So we're balancing both, and our discovery work is one sprint ahead of our delivery work. This is okay, but it's really mini waterfall. The challenge is, as our teams do a bunch of delivery work, new questions come up, and we want to keep doing discovery around those new questions, right? So we really want discovery and delivery to be happening in parallel so that whenever a question comes up throughout delivery, we're able to get fast answers to those questions with feedback from our customers. So what does this look like in practice? We can't always predict what discovery is going to come up during a sprint. So we can't always write a user story with the right amount of points to capture this work. So I've seen teams do this in a few different ways. One, you can devote a percentage of your sprint time to user stories with story points and a percentage to more open-ended discovery work. So maybe you say we're going to spend 60 to 70% of the sprint on our story points and our formal user stories, and we're going to spend 30 to 40% of the time on discovery tasks. I've seen some teams just create tickets for their discovery work as it comes up, and they add it to their sprint, and it gets story points, and it might bump some previously committed things from the sprint. Some people think that's sacrilege because sprints should be locked down. Other teams are a little bit more flexible. I've seen other teams not care at all about how this gets tracked in their sprint. And when the discovery work comes up, they just do it, right? So there's not a right answer here. The key is what's the right way for your particular team. And if you're really struggling for how to balance discovery with delivery, start teeny tiny. Find the smallest discovery activity you can start doing on a regular basis, make it a habit, and then integrate the next piece. I hope that helps. For those of you watching, if you have tips on how to better balance discovery and delivery, if you can remember back to when you first got started, do me a favor and leave a tip in the comment, and hopefully we can help more folks with making this balance work.